I'm Michael Reese.
And I'm Woods Davis.
And this is the Digital President Podcast.
We've cracked the code for generating customers online for every business model.
In fact, we wrote the book on it.
We've built multiple multi-million-dollar businesses in as little as 90 days. And the one truth that we discovered is
the best business model is doing what you love and living your life by strategy.
You truly can follow your passion and create the life of your dreams,
as long as you have the right strategy.
If you're a real estate agent and you'd like to learn how you can partner with us to help you implement our strategies and systems in your business so you can make a lot more money and have a lot more time freedom, all without ever paying us a penny or giving up a percentage of your commission, go to partnershipdetails.com and schedule a call with us today. While it's fresh in your mind, go to partnershipdetails.com. Now on to the podcast.
Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of the Digital President Podcast. This is episode number 32. We're going to talk about leveraging email marketing. I'm your host, Michael Reese, with co-host Mr.
Woods Davis.
Hey man, how you doing, brother?
Man, doing great. Excited.
Man, I've really enjoyed these discussions that we had. One of the things that I think is great about having these podcasts is, there's a lot of reminders, a lot of things that, just naturally getting prepared for these topics that we've been, kind of just doing for so long. You're just reminded of how powerful these concepts are. And, that so many people, they simply don't leverage all of the different ways that you can increase your conversion, grow your business, get clients. So, man, let's talk about the email marketing. I'm going to kick it to you all first, Woods. If a real estate agent was looking to leverage email marketing in their business, where would you suggest for them to start?
Well, first and foremost, I would suggest for them to start, because one of the most common things that that happens when I'm talking to a real estate agent about their business, helping them grow their business, is that they don't have a consistent strategy to leverage email marketing. And one of the biggest questions that you can ask yourself is frequency. How often are you communicating with your database? How often are you sending relevant, good email content to your database? And a lot of people just really don't have a good strategy. Unfortunately, I think everybody's looking for the magic bullet. They're asking for, well, what is the best drip campaign? What is the best automated campaign that I can just plug people into and then just going to send them some stuff automatically? And that's going to really develop a relationship with the database. And unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. So the first thing that I would probably recommend to people is to help them realize that, number one, they need to be realistic, that it's going to take a little bit of effort. But number two, I'd want them to realize that it should probably be one of the highest ROI pieces of marketing that they're going to do in their business is email marketing back to their database, converting unconverted leads simply by leveraging email, which is for the most part pretty free, or it's at least pretty low cost. So first things first, I would let them know that, hey, this is going to require some work up front, and they're going to need to start to get into the mindset that this is an opportunity to distribute content. This is an opportunity to add value. And so they got to get in the mindset of, hey, I need to produce content specifically for my database in order to build a relationship. And so then I can actually, make deposits into those people. So then I can also ask to make withdrawals. And so there's a couple of different types of emails that, that we can send. I'm sure we'll get into all that today. But that's kind of where I'd start, is just like getting your mindset right about where the opportunity is with your database.
Yeah, I think that's a great place to start, because, people got to understand is you have to start somewhere. The biggest thing about anything is being able to deconstruct it down. And when you're really looking for a place to start, what you want to do is look for the low hanging fruit, right? And so the database is, like you said, it's a great place to start, because again, your database is made up of past clients, unconverted leads. And one of the things that, it's going to allow you to do, especially if you come to the mindset being preeminent, which we discussed on in the past, it's where you're in the care of these people. And so, one of the mistakes I think people might make is sending the wrong type of content, the wrong type of message. The easiest type of content, if you're going to broadcast to your database, is just, getting people, here's the word, engaged, getting people re-engaged, asking questions, short sentence, 3 to 4 sentence emails, right? Like, and the cool thing about this is there's two ways that you can do that. You can build this out in a campaign, or you can do it through broadcast, right? Broadcasting is going to be where you're sending to a segmentation of your database. So let's say you could send an email to everybody who has the classification past client. And this is an important key factor that, you have to know how you're going to segment your database in the future and how you're going to communicate it to make sure that, you're able to segment. Segmentation comes from recency and frequency. Are you going to be able to reach out to people who've gotten on your list in the last 30 days? Or do you put those people in kind of a hibernation? And what I mean by that is, do you say exclude everybody who's got on the list in the last 30 days? Because currently we have a 30-day indoctrination campaign. Indoctrination would be a campaign where you're, putting the best content. So let me give you an example. Let's say that I shoot, 25 videos and 3 of them are really, really good. Specifically, they have, they're really good in favor, and their topics favor buyers, right? I might put those 3 pieces as content to indoctrinate somebody to me when they come on as a lead, right? And so it helps you nurture, build relationships. And let's just face it, people are using email. You got to remember, in the past, before email, you only had one option, which was to mail a piece of mail, which there was an expensive cost. So this is low cost, high leverage, and gives you the ability to automate. And there are cool metrics that you can see, because you can send one email with one video, and you can change one word. Let's just say the headline, right? You could get the open rate to get better over time. So it's let's say you send an email and you're like, hey, welcome to my buyer and waiting program, right? And let's say you have some program that you're communicating to the buyer. I shot a short video that explains to you XYZ benefit. And let's say it's not getting a high open rate. And then the next thing you know, you change the headline to good news. It's those things can be improved upon. And it's really easy to get that data. And so I think what you said, Woods, is starting with the database gives you the ability to broadcast into an audience to see what's going to get those best open rates, so that you can be building out your hit campaigns in the future by being able to go back and mine all of that, powerful analytics and data to then automate that stuff, over the client's journey.
One of the things that I think that you mentioned that I want to make sure everybody captures and imprisons is segmentation. You nailed it right out of the gate. I actually was doing a little bit of research, and just to get some statistics for 2022 for email marketing, and HubSpot actually had put out. It's a company. They have like a marketing automation software, probably not really relevant for most real estate agents. However, they have really good data. And one of the things that they had said is that they basically had done a study, and that revenue had actually increased 77% for companies that segmented their database versus companies that did not segment their database. And so simple segmentation, like you mentioned, past clients, you're going to probably want to communicate to them maybe a little bit differently than a brand new lead that comes into your database, right? So getting a little plan just around segmentation. And one of the other things that can happen when you're doing broadcasts specifically, meaning you're emailing out to big portions of your database in bulk versus one-on-one, or you have somebody in a campaign based on some type of action that they took, is that if you just blast people indiscriminately, you're going to start ending up in the spam folder. Your emails are going to go to the promotion inbox, or they're going to go to the spam filter if people don't continuously engage. And so one segment that you want to have in the database is people that are unengaged, meaning that they haven't opened your email, they haven't clicked any of your emails or anything for the past 6 months. And what happens with those people, and again, you can play with the time frames. I know for us, it's just 6 months. But what happens if you continually send those people emails and nobody's responding, the email service providers, whether that's Gmail, Yahoo, whatever the people are using for their email, they're going to recognize that a lot of your emails are just not getting open. They're not getting any engagement. And that's going to actually impact your deliverability to the good people that you want to send email to, the people that do open your emails, the people that do engage with you. Let's say you wouldn't want, for example, to miss out on the opportunity to communicate with a great past client because you're blasting, 200 people that are never going to, open any of your emails. So the good news is that those people are still valuable, because those audiences, if you've, done this up front, number one, I believe your entire database should be a custom audience inside of, if you're doing actually paid advertising like Facebook advertising or something like that, which is a little bit beyond the scope of our talk today. But the reality is, like, those people are still valuable. So you want to re-engage them somehow. And a good way to do that is just simply run ads to those people to get them to opt back in. And so again, segmentation up front is super important. And I'm glad that you brought that up. And I just really wanted to make sure that everybody's really clear on having that plan for how they want to segment the database, so they can get really clear. It also, I think, provides you clarity on what you're going to send to the database, because you know who you're talking to.
Yeah, and what I like to include, anytime I get a new lead, I like to get a situational opt-in at some point. If you think about lead generation, is, somebody has provided you with their information. Maybe you just got provided an email. You can always put a campaign in place, an email campaign with a link to a survey. Or, there's free tools out there like SurveyMonkey. Obviously, it's built in Attract ROI, but you could use, what is that, Tap Form, or I forget what that was called.
Jot Form, Type Form. There's a lot of different ways.
Yeah. And basically ask questions like, are you interested in buying, selling? What is your time frame? And as they answer those questions, they can be adding segments to them. When you go back to a lot of the things, if you think about this kind of in sequence, we start with the database. The goal is to grow the database of homeowners, communicate to it. And as people come on, we can either, again, broadcast out as we have new things that are coming on. Let's say there's something going on in the community that you want to notify people about. Maybe you send out a market update. Maybe you're doing YouTube and you want to, and if you are doing YouTube, I highly recommend you emailing those videos to your database. But in addition, there's the thing about email that makes it so cool is you would think that, okay, it's email. It's a marketing tool. And let me tell you what I mean. The ability to get attention and being able to communicate. So attention and communication are important in any relationship. Imagine when there's a spouse and a husband. It's like, you're not paying me any attention. Or we have poor communication, right? When somebody comes onto your list and they're new, the first thing you want to do is, now that it's think about like how many interactions someone has to have with you. You might have, as an example, opened an email to watch this podcast. You might have opened up hundreds of emails from us. The question is, are you maximizing what you're already doing? See, you're already spending time, energy, and effort on generating leads, right? But when you generate a lead, the question is, what do you currently do? Do you have a force multiplier strategy where you're hitting them by land, by sea, by air, right? Are you coming at them in that force multiplier method where, the cool thing about email is, in an email, you can reference, hey, I'm going to give you a call, right? In a call, you can reference, hey, I'm going to send you a text. Obviously, when they get onto your list, you want to have your policies in place that allow them to opt in and agreeing to communicate to your communication after they opt in. And you want to obviously follow the guidelines that, that represent, what you're going to be doing in the future with their information, and make sure you're clear. But that's kind of a table stake. Once you've done that and someone's giving you their information, you have to think about it as this person has raised their hand. They've come to your party, right? Like, they could have went to any Christmas party in the neighborhood and they chose your party. Why would you ignore them? Why wouldn't you acknowledge them? Why wouldn't you be a good host, right? And that's what it is. It's simply how to win friends and influence people. And the cool thing about email marketing is that, again, some people right now listen. I'm not telling you this is true. People listen to Pandora, not me. We were having a conversation over Christmas, and a gentleman who's a relative, said, yeah, hey, can we put on Pandora? And somebody made the comment like, dude, does, Pandora? And they're like, yeah, I got it. And they're like, y'all have Pandora? Y'all don't have Spotify? And they're like, no, what's wrong with Pandora? And the conversation was really around like, oh, Pandora's so old. But listen, there's people who listen to Pandora, and there's people who listen to Spotify. And I'm telling you, there's people that listen to the radio. That is a fact, because I know people who have exploded on radio. There are people who open their emails and look for information in their email. And so what you're doing is you're just taking that subset. For every 100 clients that you have, maybe their preferred communication is email. Maybe they are one of those OCD people that have to reply and archive or delete. They can never go to bed with their email box with one email unread. That's not me, but that is certainly some people's personality type. Man, for all of those people, you're guaranteeing being able to stay in front of them. And the question is that, if you can think about your client's journey, right? Like, when a new client comes on the list, and if you can understand the way that they're thinking, their desires, if you can understand the things that consciously or unconsciously they either want or they need to know, this is a place where you can inform them on problems they're not aware of, right? Like this is places where you can demonstrate expertise. Again, I can't say it enough. It's prioritization. Why would you skip something that scales at such a small price? If you're going to lead generate, you have to be willing to put the energy and effort into converting those leads. And it's just foolish to think that the only way to do it is calling them. If you're sending emails about you being number one or your next subject property, you're sending stuff that's important to you. That ain't important to them. The way that you do find out what's important to them is by asking them questions. Hey, I noticed you just filled out a form on our website. I was just curious, are you open to homes that include swimming pools? And are you open to homes with masters on the second floor? Right? Question. If that person responds to that email, you can preface, hey, I noticed your search and a few homes came on the market last night. I wanted to make sure that I made you aware of everything that matched your specific criteria. I had two quick questions. If you don't mind a second, just replying real quick, and boom, lay out the questions. And again, guys, listen, not everybody's going to reply, but in real estate, what you have to understand is that real estate agents are converting 2 to 3% of their leads. 20% of their leads are convertible. They're just not convertible today. And so if your job is to manually sift and sort and get up every day with a shovel and go try to find, whack-a-mole, and which, like I need to call all 10,000 people in my database to find out who's ready this week. No, you can email, you can sift, you can sort, you can ask questions, you can segment. And again, we're getting into some campaign things, but campaigns are so powerful because you can move people from campaigns. Right, you can say when a client has the status of past client, no longer give them the new buyer campaign or new construction campaign. Now put them on 12 month follow up, right? And again, there's no reason why. A client, you have the best time for past clients is to segment is at the closing. A simple piece of paper with the survey, with the little gift card that says, hey, listen, I want to know the birthdays. I want to know this information. Now, boom, every day, hey, listen, I know it's your birthday tomorrow. I wanted to be the first one to wish you happy birthday. Just simple stuff like that. Those little touches and nudges. Again, it's keeping yourself relevant. It's all about collisions and connections. And when I mean it's they're seeing your brand. They see you. Oh man, he listed the house down the street. Then next thing you know, man, he sent me an email. I didn't realize it's already been a year since we've been in our house. Next thing you know, man, I just watched his video on what's going on in the market. I know that Chris told me that they're leasing because they couldn't find something, but now they're ready to buy. I need to forward them this video. So that's and the power of forwarding an email is I mean, here's what I would tell you. You know, Woods, you pointed it out. In emails, you can have engagement, you can have response, you can have offers. But if you're going to leverage call to actions, just as a point of reference here, just tell them to do exactly what you want them to do. Like if you want them to reply, say, hey, if you'll click the reply button and just type in, a few words about, the area you're looking for, that would be greatly appreciated. I can probably come up with a better list, and it'll include homes that are currently not on the market, coming soon, bank distressed, stuff like that. But again, this is just marketing, and email is just the media for you to communicate.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's really interesting too is as we've really started to go hard on YouTube, a lot of the agents and people that we work with, that we've been coaching, that we've been helping implement the same strategies that we're using, that are now communicating with their database with video. It's a really simple way to, I think, to manage communication with your database is simply commit to developing a YouTube strategy. Meaning, if you commit to shooting YouTube videos and you think about your database as a distribution channel to send those videos that are going to add value, and let's face it, they're interesting, guys. People watch HGTV for a reason. And because people generally are interested in seeing homes, they're pretty interested in the real estate. The real estate market is one of the biggest factors in the overall global economy. So it has a real impact on people's lives. So whether it's information about the market, whether it's simply information about specific neighborhoods or cities or things like that, people find that stuff interesting, and that you're more likely, I believe, if you're shooting YouTube videos, you're more likely to put yourself in the mindset of adding value and educating people on the market, educating people on real estate in your area. You're more likely to have relevant communication to your database simply by sending them that information versus trying to come up with some strategy of like, man, what do I want to email my database that's going to add value? I think if you do that up front on creating these videos and then you send those videos to your database, I think that is probably one of the easiest kind of cheat codes to get a consistent way of communicating to the database that's going to be more relevant than simply, sending them, recipes of the month or something like that. Right. And I've seen it happen time and time again. And one of the things that you mentioned too is like about being specific and telling them what to do. I was literally just on a call yesterday, and I was helping somebody with this exact strategy, basically their database communication strategy coupled with their YouTube strategy. And we were looking at one of our other agent partners who is implementing, that bless their heart, they took action exactly like we laid out in their plan when we onboarded them, and we went through, laid out their goals, laid out their plan. And we were able to go into their database and look at the communication with their database. And it was just so relevant. It was so good because some of their email broadcasts that they were emailing to their database that they had built around one segment of lead generation that we had done around new construction was simply emailing videos. Hey, have you seen this community yet? And it was a link to a YouTube playlist because they went out and shot 4 or 5 videos from model homes in this particular area. And then they did, kind of a neighborhood video. And we went back and looked at the playlist. That playlist had like 867 views to this playlist. So like the opportunities to really build a good relationship with email, and especially when you couple that with video, specifically YouTube video, and sending them those YouTube videos, I think that's a really killer combo. And I'm just looking for like the most simple way to execute something. Like if I'm a real estate agent in 2022, I'm going to shoot YouTube videos and think about, valuable, interesting content that I can do that. And I'm going to definitely send those to my database.
Well, that made me think, for somebody who's watching this podcast, one of the best things they can do to start, I'm just going to say what I've done, some of my best emails, like it's like, okay, well, I want to think about, I would personally think about every email you open and ask yourself, why did I open this email? A long time ago, and it was funny. I'm not going to, I will personally take credit, but the credit was given to another guy. I opened a voicemail, an email, and I had a strategy. I put voicemail because I had this thing that would transcribe voicemails and send me voicemails into my email box. It was a free service I used. So one day I was like, maybe other people have this. I'm gonna put voicemail and send it out, and I did, and I built a campaign. So imagine someone's like, what, voicemail? Why am I getting a voicemail? And imagine if there's an attachment of an audio, right? And I share that with you because, there's two things: modeling what other people are doing, seeing what they're doing, start saving them, labeling them. I mean, I follow some of the best copywriters in the world, and I get on their email list and I save them. So John Carlton's one of them. I'm on his email list. I save all of his emails. He's one of the best copywriters. I want to see, how is he writing? What is he saying? How is he articulating himself? What words is he using? Another thing that you can do is you can use a free thing called Hemingway app. One of the best things in marketing is to keep your language at a 4th grade reading level. That's a best practice. And Hemingway is a cool tool because you can literally write within the tool and it'll tell you what grade you're writing at. If you're writing at 6th grade, 7th grade, but the ideal clean, and sometimes it'll tell you if you're being too passive, if you're complicating things, it'll check your grammar. Great app to use, great little tool. I use Hemingway app almost probably every single day. And then one last thing, and I think it's a good place to put a bow on this episode. Listen, if you want to grow your business, let me tell you something. I had a call with a future partner a couple months ago, and she got on the call and we were talking about her and how she could help other people. And she said, well, Mike, I don't think I can help anybody. I said, well, sure you can. You sold, 50 plus houses by yourself last year. Where did they come from? She said, well, they all came from Google. I said, what do you mean they came from Google? I was like, you run ads on Google? She said, no. She said, in my market, I have the most reviews. I said, most reviews? She was like, yeah, I do Google reviews. And and all my reviews give me placement in Google when people are searching. And again, she sends an email. She has a campaign. She has a process. She has a system. At minimum, put an email marketing campaign together with a link to reviews and start getting reviews. We all know the power of social proof to influence somebody who's trying to make a buying decision, whether they should go with you or someone else. So my suggestion is lay out the different places, the different things. Brainstorm, question storm, come up with all of them. And then so at the same time, look at this as part of the process of making, growing your business, as getting your time back, of increasing conversion. You'd never go to the store and have a coupon in your pocket for 30% more, right? Or 30% off and not use it, would you? No, you could, if you could increase your business by a mere 15, 20, or 30%, by increasing your effectiveness or your productivity or your conversion by simply leveraging email, then my suggestion to you is look at all those places, prioritize, organize, look at the segmentation, start with the people who know, like you the most, that have the relationship with you, put things in place to stay in contact with them, put campaigns in place. And like we opened up with, start with broadcasting, start with your database. And that's my suggestion. I don't want to make this too overwhelming, but that's my suggestion. And again, guys, if you like content like this, please like this episode. And if you want to do us a huge favor, we'll put a link to the iTunes. head over to iTunes. Just leave one word about this episode. If you could leave one word for us, that would be greatly appreciated. It motivates us. We're doing a lot of time. We're spending a lot of time not only taking our knowledge, but also researching what topics people need more help on. And we spend a lot of time to put these episodes together. I think Woods, where you're at right now, tell me, what time is it where you're at right now? Honestly.
I believe it. Well, actually, we started at 5:30 this morning.
5:30 a.m.
5:30 a.m.
Right. So, and we talked before that. So Woods is out on the West Coast. I'm in Puerto Rico. I'm obviously 2 hours ahead of Central Time. He's way over there. I mean, getting up at 5 a.m. to lay this down for you guys is a commitment that we have. And man, we would just like for you to take that 1 second, just while you're there. If you're just head on over to iTunes, Digital President Podcast, leave a comment on this episode or any episode you like. And man, that's all I got for you today, Woods. I know you got a lot. You got a whole day ahead of you.
Yeah, man. Got a lot of appointments today. I will say one last thing. I had another conversation with another real estate agent partner who'd been following us for a long time. And he said specifically that he literally just copied what we do. He copied our emails and started sending emails to his list based on exactly because he was signed up to our email list. And so for anybody who's looking to just kind of copy the framework that we use, we send YouTube videos to our email list. We send valuable resources and content exactly like what we do on this podcast to our email list. One way to easily get on our email list and also really see what some cool things that we're doing in the marketplace is just go to listingclass.com. That'll put you on our email list, and then you'll start getting our emails. You'll be able to see kind of the format that we use. We keep it really simple, and I think that might be something of value that you can definitely check out.
Yeah, and I'm gonna wrap this up and end it here, Woods. You just gave me another piece of value. Guys, when I do my emails, I start with a couple bullets, right? When I'm doing longer form emails, I start, again, you have response type, you have broadcast, but let's say I'm going to do a YouTube email. Google Documents under tools has the ability for you to do speak to text. So if I know the talking points that I'm talking about in the video, let's say like this would be email marketing, why it's important, some of the benefits, I'll just talk about it and it'll transcribe. I'll take that transcription over to Hemingway, clean it up, make it really legible and simple for people to read and understand, and send it out. So guys, listen, there are tools to make this extremely effective and efficient. All you have to do is seek. All you got to do is seek. And hopefully this planted a little seed. You can think of different ways that you can leverage email marketing in your business. Hopefully you found this valuable. And thank you so much for taking the time to spend it with us. And I hope you enjoyed the episode.
Yep. And like we always say, the best life to live is a life by
strategy, baby.